Coming up this week on the Course of Life podcast, it is week 6 COVID sports blackout, but golf might be providing the light at the end of the tunnel. We'll get into that in the revised schedule and the return of golf timeline. Plus, Tom Brady, trouble in paradise already? No way. It's happening. Yep. We've got drama in Tampa. Drama in Tampa Bay, plus what we made last weekend in the kitchen, what we're up to in quarantine, and 2 great guests this week. First, we have Gregg, pro golfer from California, with a huge following on social media and a business behind it as well. Plus, we have our guy, Brooks Austin, for an NFL draft preview. It's time. It's draft week, getting you ready for the first live sporting-based event that we actually can care about in a long time. NFL draft coming up this week. We have everything you need to know. But first, we have to shout out our pals at Quantix Golf. Unlike your typical direct-to-consumer ball company in the golf space, Quantix has a world-renowned chief ball scientist behind the creation of their products. He's on the team, so you know they mean business. Larry, their golf ball scientist, has created balls for Titleist, Nike, and even the patent for Top Golf as well. Quantix has put massive amounts of time into R&D and over 100 years of combined experience in the golf business into creating a new hot ball unlike any others on the market. Not to mention they control their manufacturing process just like the big box golf ball companies. This allows Quantix Golf to perfect the quality control within their products to give you the most consistent and highest performing balls for a great price. So stop paying $50 or $60 for a dozen golf balls that aren't getting you results and go to quantixgolf.com. Again, Quantix, Quantix golf.com to check out their F35 control ball and the new F18 Tour Ball to help change your game for the better today. Use the promo code PODCAST. Again, promo code PODCAST to get 10% off of your entire purchase. Again, that is quantixgolf.com.
Interwebs, and welcome to another edition of Course of Life presented by our friends at Desert Fox Golf, Groove It Golf, and Quantix Golf. This is the podcast where we talk about everything happening in the world of golf, plus other things that interest us from the world of sports and pop culture. I'm Michael. He's Alex. Alex, you said this was week 6 of the COVID sports blackout?
It is. Yeah, we're really getting into it, aren't we?
It both feels like it's been longer and not longer all at the same time.
Yeah, well put. As we hit the end of April now, Masters is come and gone. This was RBC Heritage Week in your backyard.
In my backyard.
Shout out to Harbor Town.
Beautiful place. Seeing the lighthouse there. Beautiful place.
I only tuned in for a few minutes to replay golf over the weekend. They showed 2016 on Saturday, 2015 on Sunday. I mean, it doesn't quite have the same hit as, a Masters replay with Phil and Tiger. But yeah, I feel like I'm just saying this now at the top of each podcast, just for like a little timestamp and a little time capsule of like what would actually be going on if the world were normal.
No, that's true. I watched about the last hour or so of Jim Furyk's playoff win. Cool. In 2015.
You forget about these things.
You forget about that. The playoff win when he shot 63 and, what's his face? Shot 64. I think it was.
Yeah, you can go low at Harbor Town. I mean, that's a par 70 course where people have teased 59 many a times. Furyk's a great guy for that, just a ball striker. Yeah. You forgot how good he was in those early 2010s. Well, he was rolling.
He was rolling, but this was his first win. 2015 was his first win in 5 years since he had won the Tour Championship
the FedEx Cup
in 2010. Exactly. So this was a huge win for him. And guys like, it did make me think with guys like Jim Furyk, he's getting up there. He's supposed to be on the Champions Tour. So it's, he's probably he's not going to win a major.
Yeah, has Corona killed Jim Furyk's PGA Tour career?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of guys out there that their tour careers are probably over and done with. I mean, Furyk is probably going to be great on the Champions Tour. It's starting to get to a point to me where I may want to start watching the Champions Tour because you got guys like Jim Furyk who are going to go over to it.
It is. Champions Tour is quietly getting loaded now because all the guys from our childhood are now entering that age.
Yes.
So we're getting to that sweet spot. So shout out to the 50 and over guys. Furyk and the 2015 winner at Harbor Town last week. This would have been Zurich Classic Week this week, which is the 2-man teams and the walk-up music. Which we enjoyed. We enjoyed that last year.
I mean, that was kind of like what more golf events needed to be like.
Yeah.
So
how about walk-up music with no fans? That would be super awkward in the next few months.
I think we're going to
something that we see.
We're going to see a lot of that in sports in general when they start coming back.
I think we're going to be piping in crowd noise. I think we're going to be over-graphicing everything, right? Because why not? Just packages left and right, Mike. I know you love packages, right?
It depends on the sport.
So that's what would have been going on in golf right now. Again, we tease this idea. It's hot in the streets. There's a lot of debate about it. Right now, the PGA Tour is doing everything they can. They got their foot on the accelerator for the moment when go is hit and the flag is down. They're eyeing a return at Colonial in June. We have no idea what that's going to look like. I appreciate the optimism from the tour. There's a lot of question marks that come in between now and June. But as of right now, they're trying to get golf back for Fort Worth in about 7-8 weeks' time.
Yeah, and they need to make the decision in about 3 or 4 weeks' time because they said they'd tell the players 3 to 4 weeks ahead of time.
Right.
So
hot seat there. There's going to have to be a lot of things that happen in the next few weeks. Obviously, testing a big discussion, but there's governors, there's the logistics, there's people traveling. There's a lot at play. It seems like the next kind of few episodes of Course of Life are going to determine like exactly what the future of golf in 2020 looks like, if at all. We're as optimistic as we can here. We're dying to see the return as soon as we can. We want it done safely. Yes. And I know that the tour is doing everything they can to have it done as safely as possible. So we've been throwing out our theories. And I feel like there's a new theory every day about how we can do golf in 2020. I'll let you kind of lead off because I feel like that just kind of every time I have a conversation with someone about this, it brings up new ideas as to how we could possibly bring the game of golf back as soon as possible.
I mean, we could. All these guys, do you think most of these guys or all these guys have virtual hitting spaces in their homes? A lot of the guys do.
They've got a TrackMan, which we've discussed in many interviews, which basically tracks everything regarding their swing and their ball flight. And they got a net. So at minimum, they have that.
All right.
Yeah.
Problem solved. They can be playing golf right now. We'll pipe in, what used to be Tiger Woods PGA Tour golf games into their home. They just play virtual games. They hit with their simulator. Done.
Whoa.
Done.
Whoa. Super $1 billion idea just got dropped right there.
This is
These
my
simulators
gift
are
for
hot
people.
in the street. These simulators are hot in the street. I'm even going to do a product drop. Shout out to Golf Pro Delivered. You remember we interviewed Jeff Wibben on the podcast a while back. He brings simulators to anybody. There are simulators out in the market right now. We have professional golfers that make millions of dollars a year that they could certainly afford these. How are we not doing one-on-one simulation matches right now with the world's best golfers? Give yourself a pat on the shoulder for that one.
Yeah, I'm giving it to the people for free. It's my gift to you.
That's an amazing one. So if we can't do it in real life, let's do it that way. If we're going to try and do it in real life, we're going to need the testing. We're going to talk about how we're going to need players and caddies and officials to be tested. We've talked about the idea of splitting up groups. I'm wondering how the whole lodging thing is going to work. There's a lot of different things that players do when they go to a given tour stop. Sometimes they stay at friends' houses. Sometimes they rent out their own place. And sometimes they stay all at a communal hotel. It seems like the communal hotel is going to be the safest thing for players to do, but are we going to get every single player and caddy on the same page to do that? I don't know, but that's a big question mark right now that's going around in my head is how we're going to lodge these players in the next 30 to 60 days.
I think if the tour puts up the cash to put them all in one hotel, that's great. What we don't want to have happen, though, is what happened to Phil, which is where a fire alarm goes off at 3 a.m. and you have to get up and your clubs are still up in your room and you can't get to them in time for your round.
Touche. Yes.
You remember that?
So we have to turn the fire alarms off. We need a couple of firefighters to watch the facility just to be ultra safe and take them away from their job. No big deal. They're not doing anything important right now. So, yes, we'll keep that under advisement as well. But again, the idea here, we say this half in jest, but the idea is if golf could possibly be the first sport back in June safely, it could be a huge, huge exposure point for the game. Yep. You and I have a Settle It on it. Shout out to the Settle It app where you can wager friendly with your friends. settleit.app.link/course of life if you want to join. I think it's going to happen on June 11th in Fort Worth. You're skeptical. Some other people are. But in the meantime, all we can do is hope and pray and come up with ideas to maybe make it more realistic before June gets here.
It's going to be interesting. Did you hear what John Daly said, though?
Yes, just John Daly, the Godfather, and the foremost expert on disease prevention, right? That's how I know him?
Sure, we'll say that. His loud pants and his long drives and his cigars.
Yes. I think he said, what was it? What was the alcohol he picked that cures corona?
Vodka.
Okay, so he says that vodka is going to cure corona. Now, I always thought he was more of a beer and Diet Coke guy, but I guess he's made the shift to vodka. John Daly says that vodka has the alcohol count to cure corona. He is 100,000,000% false.
Yes.
However, I do want to take him at his word just because he is John Daly.
I think
I'll drink a little bit more just because he says so as a safeguard. I'm going to be safe for you and me, Mike.
You know, you were saying you thought he was more of a beer guy.
Yeah.
I think he's doing Red Bull and vodka.
Yes,
so
well put.
He's bringing it back down to earth for you.
So RBVs from John Daly. He's giving the endorsement to everyone to sign off on one of those a night. Keeps the corona away. One vodka and also staying at home as well. So good combo there from John Daly.
It does not. It does not.
I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to do my first round of golf out in the real world since the corona. I'm going to be playing by myself. I'm going to be picking one of my member courses. I get one round a month of the Players Club, so I've waited till late April when things are a bit on the safer side here in Texas. Obviously, social distancing coming into play. The big thing is there's a ton of new rules, and I'll let you ask what you want, but shocker here, I might actually walk 18 holes for the first time in years and years.
Really? They're not giving you a cart? No cart?
They are available. One person per cart, they're available, but I'm actually thinking about maybe just walking and getting the steps in. Crazy times right now.
I mean, here's the reason to walk. One, what else you got to be done with the round? You got to be done with the round in 3 hours.
Schedule.
There's nothing else to do. If the weather's nice, enjoy it. Get the sun.
Yeah. Play nice and slow.
Play nice and slow. I'm pretty sure there's going to be no one behind you.
Yes, I think so.
And so I'm guessing no rakes.
There are no rakes in the bunkers. There's no water on the course. The cups are turned upside down. The flag sticks are in, but they're at half height, and there's no need to take them out.
Yep.
I think there's still team markers. The clubhouse is closed. They're doing grab-and-go burgers and dogs outside. Shout out to Avery Ranch for doing that. Literally feet from where I got married, right there between 9 and 10.
Yes.
And I think the range is closed as well. I hit some putts before with no flag sticks. They're keeping it ultra safe. They're doing absolutely everything I can. So I know that golf is a bit of a sticking point and controversial for some people in some part of the country. In Texas, a little bit more rural setting where you can social distance, no cart use at all. It is doable. So I'm going to test it out. I'll give my review on next week's episode and report back and see what it's like.
Here's my question though. You said you're playing alone. Are they doing that where singles only are going out, or did you get it so you could guarantee yourself no one to play with?
You can play tee times and you can have up to 4 people in a group, just as normal. But again, if for those groups of 3 or 4 people, it's going to be 1 cart per person. So there's going to be no sharing golf carts at all for those.
So you could be paired up with someone else.
Yeah, you can. Based on the lack of busyness on these courses, they're allowing you to pretty much make your own groups as you see fit. And if you don't want to play with a group or other people, you don't have to, which is a very important stipulation.
I like that. I keep thinking about whether I want to go out and play 9 or 18 holes or something, but it's been a while.
It is. It's okay for everyone to take it easy and practice at home. You've seen my backyard setup, which I posted on Instagram at Course of Life Alex. You've not only seen the pictures I've taken in my full backyard, but the chipping challenge I do every Saturday as well. You're at MWRINC. I'm at Course of Life Alex, and we do the weekend turn every Saturday where I do a chipping challenge in my backyard. If you want to stay home and golf with us, that's the way to do it. I had 4 out of 14 in the circle last week. A tough week. Did not hit my over 5.5 bet. But you can tune in there every Saturday for the weekend turn. We pick a horse race. I've been on fire there. You can bet on my chipping challenge and tune in for our weekend podcast as well.
Indeed. Let's move over to other things we're doing during quarantine. Let's talk about some TV shows we're watching.
Yeah.
We're actually both watching shows on FX right now.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah. What are you watching on FX?
I am watching season 2, just started coming out, of What We Do in the Shadows. It is amazing. So What We Do in the Shadows was originally a movie done out of New Zealand, starring and written by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi, who's the director, he did Thor Ragnarok, he did Jojo Rabbit. He's just hilarious. This is now the TV show based on it. Basically what it is it's 4 vampires sharing a house together in Staten Island.
Oh, nothing could go wrong there. Right?
Exactly. It is fantastic. It's hilarious. It's done in that kind of docu style. So it's very over the top. It's very hilarious. It's very well done.
Great.
Highly recommend it. Season 2 out now. There's only like 10 episodes in season 1. Really easy to binge. It's on Hulu. Go watch it. 30-minute episodes.
Great 1-sentence synopsis there by you. 4 vampires. What could go wrong there?
Exactly. That's all you need to know.
My one sentence shout out on FX is Dave, starring my favorite rapper and comedian who is going to be a big star. Everyone's going to know his name real soon. It's a weird one too. His name is Lil Dicky. Yes, everyone can laugh. His name is Lil Dicky. He's a really talented rapper and comedian as well. This show is new. It's season 1, and it's kind of like a half look, like half biography into his life as a rapper, a comedian, as an actor trying to make it in LA. He writes pretty much all the show. There's some really great cameos from the music industry as well. Justin Bieber was on last week's episode. There's just some really random people that pop on camera, and it's a really funny watch as well. So shout out to Little Dicky and Dave on FX. Shout out to the FX network as well too for that free promo we just gave you guys.
Very cool. FX, if you want to work with us, give us a drop us a line.
Yeah, exactly.
Instagram,
Seriously.
Twitter, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Other hobbies that are going on. We finally broke out our cornhole set.
I saw not just any cornhole set either too.
Well, we got one is a Quinnipiac one for me. The other one is Virginia Tech for her.
Like it.
So, we go out there, we play. We played best of 3 is what we've been doing. I lost the first time.
Mike? Well, what happened?
The first time,
okay.
But I won last night, so it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, 1-1 rubber series coming soon. We'll report back and I'll bet on game 3 with our settle it wager for this week.
There you go.
No, sounds good. All right.
Who are you going to bet on though?
Obviously not you. No.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's probably a smart decision.
And also, one thing we're getting into is really quick, easy workouts because we're lazy. We're lazy people just like you at home. You're listening to this podcast, probably doing next to nothing. If you're doing something remotely exercise related, shout out to you.
Good for you.
I've needed the help, and our pals at Active Body came along and sent us a great gift, the Active 5. It's really easy for workouts. Just for my quick review, it's 5-10 minute workouts that you can do. This is a tiny gym in your pocket, and it makes it super easy to be fit and feel like you're doing some form of exercise in a really short period of time. Great for couch potatoes like us, huh?
Well, it's great, except I have to actually get up and put shoes on still.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Couch potatoes, you may have to leave the couch.
You need a chair with a hard back.
Yes. You have to stand up from the couch. You need a chair and a phone. That's it. Okay.
But
that's really all you need.
We're supposed to get up once every hour. You're supposed to, get up and move around. So it's a good excuse to do it. It's 8 minutes. It's easy. Do it when you're in between episodes of Tiger King. It's okay.
Yeah. So shout out to Active Body. Quick workouts made easy. Tiny gym in your pocket. We'll have more from them and our partnership as well too. But Active 5 is what we got in the mail. Check it out today. ActiveBody.com. So we're trying to stay fit remotely as much as we can. Gyms are closed. Do your walks. Get up when you can. Stretch. Hit the chip shots. It's the slowly but surely course of life workout program. That's what we'll call it. Slowly but surely. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. All right, let's rip into our second to last chapter of Commander in Chief before we get to our guest this week.
We're almost there.
Yeah, second to last chapter. Commander in Chief's the Rick Riley book about Donald Trump on the golf course and everything crazy that's gone on with our president and golfing. And chapter 15, just basically all about golf and politics and how golf will just forever be connected to this president, for better or for worse. We famously remember him golfing during the Puerto Rico hurricane and refusing to give them aid. There's the funny joke about how Trump really just employs dozens, if not hundreds, of illegal immigrants at his golf course day in and day out, and yet the stance that he has against illegal immigration is pretty staunch right now. That's like the all-time rim shot joke for everything that Donald Trump has done recently. But the funny part that I know you'll get a laugh at is Donald Trump showing up to weddings at his golf courses that he owned. Mike, if Donald Trump showed up to your wedding at the golf course you had it at, what would you do?
I'd ask him to leave.
I think honestly it'd be a little bit more staunch.
What would
than
you do if he showed up at yours?
Well, first I'd ask for an autograph because you know me, I'm always one for the autograph.
True.
So I would get the autograph just to say I got it. And then, yes, I think I probably would maybe challenge him to a putting contest just so I could bury him on my wedding day and then show him for the fraud of a golfer he is. He's a fake 2 handicap, really playing as a 10. So that might be what I get into with him. But yeah, just the image of the Donald showing up at a wedding at a golf course. Very funny one indeed. So that was chapter 15 in Commander in Cheat, and we'll finish it up with our finale next week as well.
Love it. Let's get into the first of 2 of this week's guests.
Yes, let's do it.
Because that's what we do. This one's a true interview, though. We'll talk. The next one will be more about football. This one, though,
that's right.
We're going to talk to a female golfer, professional golfer on the Symetra Tour. Got a huge following on Instagram.
Yes.
Post some pretty cool content there with her boyfriend, Frederick Lindbaum. Hannah Gregg will be our first guest.
That's right. A big interview coming up with Hannah, and she talks about her travel, tips, jokes, and a whole lot that we get into with her. But first, it's time to answer one of life's most burning questions. Where does your phone go in the golf cart? Where does it go? Usually rattling around in some compartment. Yeah. It could get scratched, cracked, or broken very easily. I just put a protector on my phone like a couple weeks ago, and I've already broken that thing.
That's not it. Alex, I have the answer for you.
Yes, it's the phone caddy.
It's the phone caddy from Desert Fox Golf. It's the phone caddy. It's a phone holder designed to mount right onto the golf cart. So this is why you need a cart when you go play this week, so you can use your phone caddy.
Better safe than sorry, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. It's got sliding wings and a faceplate that adjusts to any phone, and it velcros onto the cart in seconds, keeping your yardage and scoring apps at your fingertips. You can change music, answer calls and texts, and more, all with the phone caddy. It's the most functional way to keep your phone safe and ready on the course at all times. And we're excited, Alex, to tell you that you can save 20% off your purchase with the new promo code Course of Life. There's a plethora of different colors and options to make it your own. Plus, they have an exciting giveaway for the phone caddy and Desert Fox merchandise, which we'll be telling you about in the next couple of weeks. So keep listening. But again, save 20% off your phone caddy with the promo code Course of Life at desertfoxgolf.com. Again, promo code Course of Life, 20% off at desertfoxgolf.com.
Next up on the tee, she's a professional golfer, originally from a town that is literally called Cool, California. That's awesome. Also now playing on the Symetra and Women's All-Pro Tours, amongst others. It's Hannah Gregg, a.k.a. HG, joining the Course of Life. Hannah, thanks for taking the time today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Definitely. So first off, I want to start with Cool, California. I'm sure there's probably like some wonderfully lame puns or jokes that you get from that often, right?
Yeah, everyone always goes, "Oh, that's cool." And I'm like, "Oh, wow, never heard that one before."
Yeah, very original. That's right. Good stuff. So we'll connect the dots for everyone who listens now. A couple months ago, we had Frederick Lindbaum on, actually, who you've been dating for the last year or two now. And we had him on. He gave some really awesome instruction and his background and his playing career. I know right now he had some issues regarding like travel and everything that's going on, getting back to his family in Sweden. What's the update on him and how's everything going with him?
Yeah, so we basically decided to move down to Arizona and have our base be in Phoenix for the winter. Last winter we were in Tampa, which was awesome, but we kind of struggled to find a place that fit us both for practice, just because he had status on the PGA Tour Latin America, so he had TPC Tampa Bay, but I couldn't practice there.
Okay.
And so I was having to practice somewhere else, and it was kind of pointless for us to be somewhere together and then practice at different courses. So we partnered up with Troon this year, actually, which came at the perfect time, and they set us up at a gorgeous golf course down in Chandler, Arizona. So we kind of just like packed up and went there. And we found a really cheap apartment, and we had some roommates, and it like all fell into place really, really easily. So we were down there. We went down there the first week of December, and it was awesome. It was a super good fit. We love it down there. The weather is just insanely perfect all the time,
Yeah, definitely.
which is awesome. And there's no wind, so it's like pretty ideal practice conditions. So we were down there for a little bit, and then basically when the coronavirus thing happened, Sweden kind of like sent out an email request to all people that were not at home in Sweden, and they kind of requested that everyone come home for a couple reasons. Number one, the Swedish airlines or Scandinavian Airlines was shutting down, so they weren't going to have any flights going out after a certain date.
Dang, okay.
So he kind of had to get home, and we had to pack up our apartment.
I saw that rush, that mad dash to get rid of everything in your possession. Yeah.
So he flew out of San Francisco, and we were in Phoenix. So we literally had to pack everything up in like 24 hours and drive all the way up to San Francisco, which is like a 14-hour drive or something. And it was very interesting. So, yeah. And now he's in Sweden. He's good. His dad was a little sick, but he's totally recovered.
Nice.
So
okay.
He's over there, but he's struggling a little bit because it's like snowing there.
I know, but he's being very inventive. Shout out to Fred for like hitting balls out in fields and in snow and when it's 30 degrees and still giving lessons and everything. So he's still grinding out there.
He's like bred for it. Like he grew up in that. So it's okay. He's just a little sad because I'm over here in like sunny California.
Definitely big time weather difference. Yeah. I mean, so you and Fred, you're basically kind of like the first couple of travel golf on social media, as I see it. You both like share the same passion for the game and love creating content together. I'm curious how that comes together, not only on the blog Under Par Adventures, but social media as well. What's that like, kind of working with him day in and day out?
Yeah, so that was definitely something we were a little worried about in the beginning. We were just kind of hesitant, like, do we want to jump in on this and be together 24 hours of the day and like do our jobs together? And we were like, we're going to try it out, and if it doesn't work, like, no offense to either of us, we'll just find a new way to do it, whatever.
I like that.
And it just ended up like we work super well together. And he was kind of new to all of the content creation side of it. Obviously, I have my agency, Cozy Co Social, so I was kind of already immersed. I also majored in social media and journalism in college, so like this has been my focus for a long time. But he picks things up very, very quickly, and he has a really good like photographic eye. So we're a really good team really quickly, and I mean we're still learning, and it's still hard to when we play a golf course. Our like pro competitive side kind of takes over sometimes, and it's hard to be like, oh wait, let me grab my camera and document this.
Right.
But it's worked out really, really well. We're having so much fun doing it.
Nice. I got to ask what the golf matches are like on the course. Are you giving him strokes by now, or is he giving you strokes? What do you guys typically do?
So the one thing that I think people don't really understand about Fred is like how good he really is, and how good, not just him, but guys that play on like Latin Tour and Korn Ferry and whatever, the guys at that level, like the competition is insanely deep. Like in women's golf at the mini tour level, if you shoot even par, you're going to do pretty well. You'll probably be in the top 10 or around it unless the course is super, super easy. So shooting around par is pretty good. But if you shoot even par in a Latin Tour event, like you've missed the cut by like 6.
Yeah.
So
I think there was a crazy event like a month or two ago where some players were shooting like 15 or 20 under par and like not even finishing in the top 10 or something like that for the week. It's real competitive out there.
Q school at the course we were members at in Arizona.
Yeah, you caddied for him, right?
Yeah, so the qualifying score I think was like 18 under or something, like
wow.
Insane. So it's a little different, but so he usually gives me strokes. I mean, he'll give me like one stroke. We kind of just play from there, and we always play for something like tacos or whoever has to do the dishes or whatever it is. But he is very, very good, and I mean, I can hold my own for sure, but like when somebody shoots 8 under, you're just like, oh, I played good and shot 70 and I just got my ass kicked. Like,
insane.
Cool.
Yeah, insane level of competition out there, especially on his side too.
For sure.
So let's talk about kind of your game right now as it sits before we get into the rest of the year. I'm curious what you're doing now. So I know you're home with the family in quarantine now. What when you're home like this and kind of have extended time off, which is a little bit new for a lot of us, what are you focusing on now at home with your golf game? And if you have any like tips for fun little games or drills that you've been doing around the house that we could help out with.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously super weird. The I think the scariest part of it is, for most of us, like, we just lost not only our ability to make money right now, but possibly in a few months. And even if things do start up again soonish, I don't know if the tours are going to be able to recover from losing sponsors. I mean, every business right now is struggling. So
right.
I've already lost a sponsor. I know a bunch of girls have lost sponsors because you're being paid to showcase a brand or whatever in an event. And if you're not playing in events, why would you continue to be paid? Which sucks, but it's kind of just how it is. So that is a big scary thing, I think, for a lot of girls and guys, because you're losing your foreseeable income for maybe the next year. So sitting with that kind of like anxiety and trying to focus on like getting good at golf is tough, because you're like, maybe I should find a job. Like, I don't really know.
Right. I'm doing that right now too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Maybe I should sell pizza. I don't know. But the getting good part, mostly I'm working on short game stuff. I don't love the idea. Like, I was hitting into a net off of a little mat, which is great for like working on some technique stuff. But hitting off of a mat isn't great for me personally, because I already shallow the club really well. And when I hit off of a mat, I tend to over shallow it. And then I just get everything. It's not a big difference, but things get a little wonky, and I don't want to be like, pounding balls for hours and then realize I was working on something terrible.
No, that makes sense.
So it's definitely, for me, it's been a little bit of exercise of like self-control and like not so many reps, but like good reps. Because I can't see where the ball's going. I'm hitting into a net, so I have to be that much more detailed in like my actual swing motion and focusing on good stuff and all of the technique that's important. And definitely like a lot of short game. I'm super lucky because, like you said, my parents live in a tiny, tiny town. And it's literally, I think, 2,000 people live here.
Oh, okay.
And there's a little 9-hole golf course in the gated community my parents live in. So, like, I have access to a putting green, and it's like a little par 3 pitch and putt. So, like, I can make some half swings and stuff and hit a real ball and see where it goes. But, yeah, it's definitely an exercise in patience. That's
it is. Yeah,
lots of short game practice.
Yeah, I have about a 10 by 20 yard fenced in backyard, and I think I'm going to get really good at like this 20-yard chip shot by the time this is all said and done. I'm going to be master at it by the time we hit the course.
Yeah, your lawn's going to be done, so.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned it. Have you heard anything in terms of from the tours themselves? I know they kind of put out a joint statement regarding when they're trying to get golf back. They have a vague timeline of June right now. Have you heard anything on your end from the tours that you've played on terms of their schedule or what they're anticipating for a timeline right now?
Yeah, so as far as Symetra, the plan is to postpone everything until June 15th. Events that have already been canceled, like the California Swing and those LPGA events that go through there as well, those are just done. So, like, the Kia Classic was one of the few open qualifiers for the LPGA in the season. I think there's only, like, 7 or 8 of those, and that one's just canceled. So, like, that's another aspect where a lot of girls are going to struggle to keep their card if the season starts up again just like normal, because, like, you've missed out on these events that could have been really beneficial. So, allegedly, June 15th is the aiming point for starting the season up again. We will see if that happens. Mostly, like, as badly as we all want to get back out there, my worry is I don't want to get out there too quickly, and then all of these athletes come down with the virus, and, like, then no one can play. Yeah,
it's a very interesting topic right now, because a lot of people are looking at golf as potentially that first sport that gets back to some sort of normalcy. Mm-hmm. But, there's also that fear of if you go in too early or too aggressively, then things could resurface. So there's a fine line there.
Yeah, and it's tough because, like, you have all these mini tours that are kind of, in Arizona especially, like, they're trying to keep playing, but it's dangerous. Like, it's not so much, I'm not saying that the girls need to be worried about themselves, but I'd be worried about going to play with some girls and then, like, potentially bringing it back home to my parents or something. So it's, like, such a tough decision because you don't want to, like, none of us can afford to really say no to money, right? Like, none of us can be like, oh, I don't need to play tournaments, I'm fine, because it's your job. But it's also scary to kind of get back out there and try to take all these precautions when we don't really know what's going to happen.
It is, yeah. So there's a lot of questions on the golf side, not only for you, but people like us right now. And I guess kind of the move right now is to focus on like the business that you have and creating the content that you can with what's available. And that's where I want to kind of touch on what you do with Cozy Co. Talk a little bit about that company specifically that you helped form with your sister and what you guys offer for people in business looking for more exposure on social media.
Totally, yeah. So, like I said, I've been doing it with her for the past 2 years. We started this company because we both used to actually work remotely for social media agencies, and we thought we could do a better job. I mean, it's tough when you're a big agency like that. You can't get a lot done. There's not a lot of mobility and like fun involved with what you can do, so it's not a very personalized approach. So we're a boutique agency. We do social media and all digital marketing campaigns for businesses, small businesses, startups, people, instructors, and all sorts of things like that. And so we help out businesses kind of grow their social media presence and market themselves better.
Very good stuff. Love the model and love what you guys are doing for other people as well, too. So, again, it's Hannah Gregg and it's Hannah BGG on Instagram. Let's get into some quick shot questions here. We'll go all over the map because there's a lot of things that you cover on social media as well. You're a great follow. One thing you mentioned on your Twitter bio is that you're a big peanut butter fan. So the obvious first question is crunchy or smooth?
It's smooth, and anyone that eats crunchy peanut butter is officially a sociopath in my book.
I was about to say there's one more level up if you really want to go sociopathic, is that some people will take like peanut butter and then they will take peanuts separately and then put them on top of the peanut butter just for even more crunch.
Introduce me to that person.
Yeah, I think you're scared by that person, definitely.
No.
Good stuff. Another running joke that you have on social media as well too is regarding iron covers. So for everyone who doesn't spend a ton of time in golf, basically you put head covers typically on your woods, sometime on your putter. There's a very special breed of golfers that actually have covers that they put on every single one of their irons. I noticed that you originally had lots of jokes about this, but you had a bit of a change of heart at one moment. So we need to set the record straight now and let everyone know what's your current stance on iron covers on the golf course.
See, this was a huge mistake because on April Fool's, I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to like post this. And so I said, oh, I've got a change of heart. Like, I love iron covers now. And people thought this was a good opportunity to send me photos of their iron covers. And now I just like my DMs were flooded with all these awful traumatic photos of people's iron covers. I was very triggered. So the deal is this. Iron covers are not cool. They make 0 sense. I don't like them. I compare them to like a pocket protector. Like, you know how people used to make fun of, that was like a nerd thing?
Yes.
That's what iron covers are to me. It's just like a nerd move.
Okay, so everyone out there, that was an April Fool's joke, in case you weren't clear by now, just so you got that clear to everyone. One other thing I wanted to bring up travel-wise, you and Fred went on a cool trip that he mentioned in his interview with us a couple months ago, where you guys got to play courses out in the Bay Area. The notable 3 that he mentioned were Pebble, Spyglass, and Spanish Bay. Were you part of that trip?
Yes. So
let's rank those 3 courses and tell us a little bit about that.
Dude, so I'm from the Bay Area, so like I had been down in Monterey for a lot of junior golf and stuff like that.
Okay.
My little brother played at Spyglass, and I caddied for him a few years ago, and like I just love that area. But I had never played Spanish and Pebble, and I had played Spyglass previously. So I was like, if Spyglass is supposed to be like the not popular one on this list, so I can't even imagine the other 2. But in my ranking. So Pebble is number 1 just because of like it's Pebble, right? Like it's too special. Yeah. There's a stretch of holes there that are just absolutely insane, and the rest is just decent, but like it makes up for it. So,
okay. Yeah, that's the common theory I've heard.
Yeah, number 1. And then so number 2 for me was Spanish. Like everyone told me I was going to be very disappointed by it, but I thought it was such a cool golf course. Like if you put that golf course anywhere else in the world, it's awesome. And no one would ever say anything negative about it. So for me, it goes Pebble, Spanish, and then Spy is like a super solid. It's like a 2.5. It's kind of tied. with Spanish.
Like it. Okay, cool. So shout out to Spanish Bay for coming through. A couple other things I wanted to touch on golf game wise. I think I asked Fred what's his favorite shot around the green because he loves talking about short game gains, and he complimented your short game tremendously. I've seen some holdout wedges from you, but I want to know what's your absolute favorite shot you love to hit around the green, say within 30 or 40 yards of the hole.
Around the greens, I pretty much like anything, like any nipper shot. Like if I have a tight lie and I've got between 10 and 25 yards, like a little kind of chippy pitch shot that I can hit and zip it back, those are my favorite. I love the nippers.
Nice. And then the final question, which we love to ask our guests, is the 19th hole question. So I have a funny situation that occurred when I interviewed Frederick a couple months back. Listening back to the interview, I'm curious what you think Frederick's go-to meal and drink is when he gets off the course in the 19th hole. What do you think he said for his answer?
He loves meatballs. He's obsessed with meatballs, so I don't know. It might have been that, but he doesn't drink alcohol either, so I don't even know what he would have said.
It's funny because he went with barbecue wings, and then for a drink, he said maybe a light beer. And it's funny because he said Corona, which is the word of the year in 2020. So I'm curious, has Fred drinking a Corona in the last couple months at all, or is he taking those away from his?
In my life, seen Frederick drink a Corona.
It was
only alcohol I've seen him drink a Blue Moon once.
It was funny because he mentioned light beer and just casually threw out the word Corona, and it's the word of the day, so I figured I'd bring it up.
What a dork.
What's your choice when you get off the 18th green? You're heading into the clubhouse for a meal and a drink.
Honestly, every golf course, everyone has their own kind of chicken Caesar wrap. I don't know why, but every golf course has one. Those are always bomb, or a club sandwich. You just can't go wrong with those.
Yeah, that's good. Staple. Nice. Awesome.
And a Diet Coke, yeah.
Oh, wow, non-alcoholic. I appreciate that. There you go. Good stuff. So, Hannah, again, why don't you shout out other places? I talked about the Instagram, but where else people can find more of your content, including your blog, Twitter, and things like that?
For sure, yeah. So our travel blog is Under Par Adventures. You can follow that on our website and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. You can find me at Hannah BGG across Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. And yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much again, Hannah. Look forward to seeing more adventures from you and Fred, and keep hitting them straight, all right?
Thank you. Good talking to you.
And we're back. Great chat there with Hannah. I am such a fan of her that she likes smooth peanut butter.
That's two of you now. Smooth peanut butter wins out again. I suggested that psychopath idea, just like I did to you last weekend on the weekend turn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a peanut butter and jelly, and I'm going to use crunchy peanut butter, and then I'm going to take the peanuts and put them on top, and I'm going to send that to you early in the morning, so it's the first thing that you see when you wake up, just so you can start your day on a really great note. How's that sound?
I think I'm going to block you.
Yeah, so that was funny. Another smooth peanut butter team member. I guess what are the food hashtags for us? Are hashtag team grilled onions,
yes,
and hashtag team smooth peanut butter, right? We're getting really weird, aren't we?
I did. Yeah, that reminds me. I did make a burger last week. I got some burgers last week, and I did buy an onion, slice the onion, put it on the grill.
Thank God.
Onion on the burger.
Keeping up the tradition. So really funny conversation with Hannah there. Again, it's Hannah. It's at Hannah BGG on Instagram, underparadventures.com as the blog, and Cozy Co Social as well. Really appreciated having her, and we'll definitely have her on again for sure.
Indeed. Let's talk real quick about our Patreon page and what's going on there. Again, you can support the Course of Life podcast by becoming a member. $5 a month is where we start at. You got access to exclusive content, some blog posts from Alex, some recipes that we'll post every once in a while, my golf cinema reviews as well. I got to find the next movie for that. I don't know.
Movies coming up. You can learn Chinese with Cyrus Jansen.
Yes.
We're going to have an exclusive putting lesson from Sean Lanier, something he would normally charge for. You can get on the Patreon for $5 a month. So all that and a lot more content coming there. Again, it's our Course of Life Patreon. You can find it on our social media outlets or just search Course of Life on Patreon. And we'd love for you to join our exclusive audience this. And one really cool thing that we do on this is not only talk golf, but everything else in sports. So let's get to finally a sporting event that is live, that actually has to do with sports in the future.
Yes.
And it's the NFL draft, because it's happening this week, finally. Mike, I'm going to be so tuned into this draft like I've never been before. I really am.
Okay, we're gonna do a settle a bet on this, because I want to do an over under on how many technical internet issues there are during this broadcast.
Oh yes, and we're going to get into that as well with Brooks Austin, who's back for the second annual Course of Life NFL Draft Preview. He talks us through the big names, technology issues, what the broadcast will look like, who the Pats and Giants are eyeing, and a whole lot more on that coming up.
That's right. But first, let's talk to you about our other sponsor, Groove It Golf.
Yes,
the
brush.
Groove It Golf brush, because in this day and age of social distancing, you need something on your bag that's going to clean your club. And this is it. It's got a patented pump that sprays water or your choice of cleaning solution on the club face prior to scrubbing. It's easy to refill on the go, so you can have it ready to go when you're at the course or at the range. It's got detachable magnets, so you can have it right there on your bag and just snap it right off when you need it, so you can clean your club instead of going to those dirty things all around the course that you really don't want to touch right now.
The dirty water bucket. That's what I call it.
That's what it is. So you can use it all the time. And what's great about it, it's got a 3-year bristle guarantee. If you can wear out the brush head cleaning golf clubs in 3 years, send it back, and Groove It will get you a free replacement. The Groove It brush ensures maximum backspin distance and accuracy with each shot. So prepare to be amazed for the consistency and control that clean grooves will give you. Using your existing golf clubs with the Groove It will give you the spin trajectory and consistency you're looking for. So check it out at grooveitbrush.com and get your Groove It brush today.
Next up, we've got our resident college football and NFL draft expert here for the second annual Course of Life NFL Draft Preview, lead editor of SI's Bulldog Mavens. We'll talk about a Georgia prospect or two, and he covers and recruits draft prospects overall better than anyone I follow on Twitter. It's Brooks Austin joining the Course of Life. Brooks, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Yeah, man, springtime, I know it always brings the NFL draft, but it also brings my annual appearance on the Course of Life, so I'm doing good, my man.
That's right. Yeah, and I know you're a Georgia guy, so I want to get a quick golf question in there, because they've temporarily moved the Masters to the fall. What do you think about Augusta and mainly like Georgia weather in November for that tournament? That could be an interesting look, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to get almost similar weather to the springtime. I mean, it'll be a lot colder in the nighttime, but you're still going to get 68 to 70 degrees on most days in November. I mean, you may get a cold spell.
Okay.
But I think one thing's going to be interesting is the Augusta National is right there on the same day that Georgia will be hosting Tennessee as well. So just right down the road. From Augusta, you'll be having one of the bigger SEC football matchups on the same day. I've actually heard rumors of possibly College Game Day being at Augusta National this year. So,
oh man,
it'll be rather interesting for sure.
That is a good thing to think about for the next several months here as we sit in quarantine. I like that possibility. Just the idea that the Masters could be on at the exact same time as college football in the NFL. Very weird world indeed. But that's where we're at. So in terms of the draft coming up this Thursday night, starting Thursday night and going throughout the weekend, this is unlike anything that we've ever experienced. A completely virtual draft here, no stage, no Las Vegas. I guess kind of for everyone at home who's going to be watching this and curious what this looks like, explain kind of what parts of the draft process, because I know you're big with recruiting and scouting, got changed, and kind of how that's affecting, what teams are looking at in these players they'll potentially draft this week.
Yeah, no top 30 visits, meaning like every team gets 30 visits for their top 30 prospects. It may not be their top 30, but, guys that they want to see. Can't host those guys in. No pro days, obviously. Well, there were a couple of pro days across the country that got in before the national shutdown, but most of them weren't able to have pro days. So you're seeing a lot of virtual pro days where guys might be throwing with one or two wide receivers at their local high school football field with a drone for a camera, things like that.
Yes.
And you're seeing Zoom meetings. Just like the rest of us, it seems like our world's been converted to a daily or a weekly Zoom meeting or a Zoom chat with whoever we need to talk to. And And that's the same thing these recruits or these prospects are going through right now. So it's definitely hindered the process. But, you're not quite getting as good of a look as you typically would. But then again, maybe these GMs are forced to get rid of the over scouting. A lot of the times when you look at a guy over and over and over again, or even host him for an in-person visit, sometimes their personality can sway your decision. Maybe you just like the guy and not the prospect after meeting him. So there's some goods and some bads overall. I think we're gonna it's still going. Thank God we got something to talk about.
I know.
Sports.
Man, we've been dying here for the last month or so. So just having this kind of beacon of hope here and some sort of sports-based event around the Big Four in the U.S. here has been huge. So definitely going to be an interesting draft, and a lot more people are going to be tuned in. And the technology part, which you hinted at, going to be a lot of Zooms and whatnot. Thursday night, we're going to see basically, I think, like a whole bunch of like basement cameras and living room cameras and things like that. How is that going to affect kind of the conversation between these teams and the GMs and the trades and everything, because there's a lot of rapid fire negotiation that's going on in draft night?
Yeah, Alex. So they've already released the fact that they're, for the first time ever in the NFL draft, if a team's pick isn't in on time, they're going to stop the draft because of technical difficulties. Things like internet going in and out, Wi-Fi problems. Some of these NFL execs and GMs didn't even want tech support from the teams getting into their house because of the potential. Yeah, for the potential for this thing to spread and to be transferred from person to person. So it's definitely going to be different. It's going to change a lot of things. And yeah, you're going to hopefully. I mean, I'm going to get a good chuckle out of seeing Dave Gettleman on a Skype call. See what his basement looks like, and Roger Goodell's still going to be announcing the first round draft picks. It's going to be interesting to see how it all works. But I think the TV networks, there was no way they were going to allow this not to be on television.
Yeah, it's a big spectacle for sure, and I hope their graphics teams are ready and they've got packages that'll really impress the audience. So we're looking forward to that aspect. So let's start at the top and get to the meat of the draft here. Obviously, we're talking about the top couple picks. The top guy offensively and defensively appear to be going number 1 and number 2. That would be Joe Burrow, likely going to the Bengals, quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner, national champion from LSU, and then Chase Young potentially going second from Ohio State, the DN, to the Redskins. How guaranteed are those first 2 picks right now based on everything you're looking into?
I think the first one is guaranteed. I mean, Joe Burrow is the number 1 overall pick. He will be. I mean, I don't even know. You're more of a Vegas guy than I am. I don't even know what the odds are right there. They're probably extremely heavily juiced for Burrow going to Cincinnati. As far as the Redskins go, man, I don't think you can take anything or guarantee anything that Dan Snyder or anything that he owns is going to end up happening or end up doing. So though Chase Young seemingly is the right decision at the 2nd overall pick, you really don't know, man. You can't predict that guy. But one thing you do know about the coaching staff there, with Ron Rivera now taking over that head coaching job, look, he's an offensive defensive line guy. He likes to build his teams from the inside out. That's what he did there at Carolina, and he's probably going to do the same thing there in Washington. So that defensive line's already pretty stacked up there in Washington, but I think Chase Young's such a good prospect that they're going to end up taking him as well.
Okay. All right, cool. So once we look past that and we have Burrow as the first quarterback going off the board, there's the potential for a few more to potentially be drafted in the first round. So we've got this kind of swath of 3 quarterbacks that we're looking at. Justin Herbert, who you mentioned was one of the guys that did have a pro day. We saw a little bit from Tua, I believe, Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama, and then Jordan Love are those kind of 3 that we're hovering around as potential first round picks. I guess between those 3, who's the one that you might reach for? Who's the one you're kind of okay with? And is there one there you might drop? What are your view on those 3 quarterbacks specifically?
I mean, Herbert is the prototypical, 6'6", stand in the pocket, throw it 1,000,000 miles down the field type of guy. But he led the league. He led the national, or in all of these quarterbacks. And go look back at how many screen passes they threw a year ago. Herbert was far and away higher than everybody else, and a lot of that had to do with the lack of weapons he played with there at Oregon. So it's a very simplistic offense there out there for the Ducks. I've got questions about Tua, not the player. I think it's every question that GMs are having to face right now. Look, 2 microfracture surgeries during this time at Alabama, and then you add on top of that what happened with the hip injury this year. So, played about 2.5 years of college football and could not manage to stay on the field and stay healthy. So I would have questions about that. But, and questions about the arm strength. Honestly, it's not a blow you away type of arm, but he's supposed to be a great decision maker and a great personality and a great leader. And then you get the Wonderlic scores back, and the Wonderlic scores weren't great.
Pretty low for Tua, yeah.
I'm not a big proponent of the Wonderlic. I think it's rather skewed, and it's kind of an irrational estimation of how smart a guy is going to be on the football field. But it is what it is. It's an evaluation point, and he didn't test great on that. So you don't know how much of a quick processor he is in terms of that type of learning capability. We know he can figure it out on the football field. And as far as Jordan Love goes, man, he had an absolute lighted up sophomore year out there at Utah State, and then lost 9 of 11 starters, lost his offensive coordinator, had a totally new offense come in and a new coaching staff come in, 9 new faces around him. So junior year last year there at Utah State didn't look great, but the arm talent, man, the ability to throw on the run, all that good stuff that projects to the NFL is off the charts. So if I were going to take a shot at somebody, I think I would take the shot at Jordan Love, because you don't have health issues, you don't have health questions, you've got the talent, right? The ability to make all the throws. At that point, it's about giving him the best coaching staff that he's ever had, which he's going to. I mean, no matter where he goes, all 32 NFL coaching staffs and offensive coordinators will likely be better than what he had last year at Utah State.
Interesting, yeah, because I'm not going to lie, I've been a little skittish on Jordan Love, but I think it's because of that recency bias. I just saw last season all the interceptions, and it's kind of humbled me a little bit, but I appreciate you talking me off that ledge with him. And then one other quarterback that I want you to shout out, and it relates to my New England Patriots now. A year ago, it's funny how much has changed a year ago. We threw around the idea of Bill Belichick going after Josh Rosen when you and I talked in April 2019. So now here we are a year later. Tom Brady has left the Patriots. We have Jarrett Stidham waiting from the 4th round in last year's draft. There's circulating rumors around Jordan Love, around a guy like your former quarterback, Jake Fromm, potentially as a New England Patriot. What do you make of just what the Patriots might do, and does Fromm play into that, or a quarterback at all for them?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to take Fromm, I think they're going to have to move up to get him. Look, they don't have a second-round draft pick. I think Jake Fromm's going to land somewhere in that 40 to 64 range in this week's draft. So, but what they do have is plenty of draft capital to get up. 3 third-round picks. So package a couple of those, move up into the second round, and you've got your shot at Jake Fromm. And there's some questions about it, right? I mean, he's not the typical physical presence that you would expect a guy like Bill Belichick, to be drafting, but a great decision maker, and I think that's something that Josh McDaniels' offense requires for you to be, dynamite from the neck up, and that's exactly what Jake Fromm is. So, I mean, they could take a shot at Jordan Love, like you mentioned, but is he going to be there? Where are they at? 24, 25? Is he going to be there down there in that range? So I don't know, and they're certainly not moving all the way up to in the 10 or 15 range to get him. I don't see Belichick making that type of move. Yeah,
I think maybe the median is that move where you talked about moving 3rd or 4th round picks to maybe get in the 2nd round and see if Fromm's available. So we'll look out for that for sure. Again, it's at Brooks Austin SI on Twitter if you want to follow and kind of get more of all the content that he puts out around the draft, scouting, prospects, recruiting, and all that. I have an Austin, Texas-based question since that's where I'm from. Last year, it's funny, you had a spot-on analysis of little Jordan Humphrey, a fan favorite receiver from the Longhorns who came out of the draft probably a little too early for your liking and did not make much of an impact, got picked up by the Saints and really didn't do anything all year. And now I want to ask you about the other receiver who stayed an extra season, and that's Colin Johnson. Not sure how much you've had to look at him, but he's been very popular here in Austin draft circles. Obviously, I think he's a mid-round guy, but tell me what you think about his chances of maybe getting picked up and potentially playing in the league his rookie season.
I mean, like you said, I don't know much about him, but what I do know is he's physical and he's got a ton of size, right? 6'6", about 225 pounds, and he is, a veteran presence, right? He's played a long time there at Texas, so and apparently he's got a father that was an All-American defensive back there at Texas as well, so with some NFL roots, so he's got the genes and the genetic pool. I just don't know. You just didn't see a ton of separation, I wouldn't imagine, there at Texas. He's not going to lead guys but he's certainly going to be a red zone target and going to be able to, maybe out jump some people. So been productive at the college level. Again, excellent size and length. So we'll just have to see. Maybe a late day 2 pick, a late day 3 pick. Here's what I'll tell you, Alex. This is the deepest wide receiver draft we probably ever had in the NFL draft. You might see, 7 or 8 guys drafted in the first 40 picks at the wide receiver position. So it's loaded, which means that, maybe he gets bumped up because wide receivers are flying off the board and somebody needs a big body target. But again, man, it's very limited knowledge for me on Colin Johnson. Didn't see him a ton in college, so I'll be forthfront with you on that.
Tall dude, man. Tall dude that can really reach. So let's see if he does get a chance from the right team. I want to touch on the Giants, my co-host's favorite team, before we get back to wide receivers in a little bit. We talked last year, previewing the draft, about their potential, what they might do. Sure enough, they brought in Daniel Jones. The Eli saga came and happened. Now this year they sit at the 4th pick, I believe. Any thoughts on maybe what they're looking to do with the 4th pick or the draft in general from the Giants?
Yeah, if the history of Dave Gettleman tells you anything, he's not moving. If he likes somebody, he's going to take him at 4. He's not moving back. We saw that last year. Hell, he could have had Daniel Jones at pick 31 when he traded back in to take a defensive lineman. So I don't think he's moving, which means he's going to take his guy, which I think is between 2 people. It's either draft the non-positional player in Isaiah Simmons, and I say that as non-positional because he just doesn't have one. He can play all over the field, or he takes an offensive lineman, and reports are that they like Andrew Thomas of all the tackles. Is the 4th overall selection a little too high for an offensive tackle? Maybe, but does Dave Gettleman care? No. So if he likes his guy, he's going to take him. There's a lot of rumors and speculation as to whether they might, if they want to tackle, they might move back, and let someone else move up that wants a quarterback into that 4th spot. But again, Dave Gettleman doesn't believe in that. That's clear from his history of drafting. I mean, last year, could you imagine the draft capital he would have gained for moving out of that 6th spot? Heck, he probably could have got 2 or 3 more draft picks, which is more shots, right? More darts thrown at the dartboard. That's what it is. You're just taking shots at guys. But Gettleman, to me, and I don't know him personally, but his history shows me that no one has more confidence in their draft selections in the history of the NFL draft than Dave Gettleman. He doesn't believe in draft capital. He believes that I'm going to hit where I'm at, so I'm just going to stick where I'm at, and I'm going to hit on my draft pick no matter what anybody thinks of it. Maybe it works out for him this year.
Okay, so Mike should get ready for action at pick 4 yet again with Gettleman. So let's talk into a couple quick prop bets now. Shout out to our partners at betnow.eu. It's promo code CourseLife for additional 50%. There's a couple fun ones regarding wagering for the draft that I want to get your opinion on. The first funny question is, you can actually bet on this year if the draft is going to get hacked. Now, you just clued us in, and fortunately, we're going to pause the draft if anything crazy like that happens. If Dave Gettleman gets hacked all of a sudden, right? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, they'll just stop it. I mean, if there's any technical difficulties, they'll just hold it up, send it to commercial break. They'll do something.
Okay, cool. The one I want to get to is Alabama first-round selections. I don't know if you got a first-round mock in front of you or off the top of your head, but how many guys from Alabama could we see going in the first round? It's always a bunch, and the over-under right now is at like 5.5.
So you got Tua, you got both wide receivers, Judy and Ruggs, so that's 3. And then after that, you got Warfs, the offensive tackles, 4. And then you got a slew load more of defensive positional players, right? Okay. I mean, Raekwon Davis not going to be a first-round draft pick. Terrell Lewis, the outside linebacker, probably not going to be a first-round draft pick. You go look at the corner position, Trayvon Diggs, not going to be a first-round draft pick. Xavier McKinney, the safety, probably going to sneak in. So that puts us at 5. Right, if my numbers serve me correctly. So I think that's probably the sweet spot. Anything more than that, I'd pound the under, my man.
Okay, I like that as well. And let's talk wide receivers for a second, because you clued in on a couple of them. We got CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma, just electric. And then Ruggs and Judy, both from Alabama. Between that kind of small crop of guys, who do you see maybe making the biggest impact, or who's a guy that you would reach on the most? You mentioned how loaded it was, but in terms of those top guys at wide receiver, who do you like?
So if I'm drafting for day one production, if I need a guy right now to be an impact on my football team, I'm taking CeeDee Lamb. He's the most complete wide receiver. Not the best route runner of the top 3, if you will, Judy, Lamb, and Ruggs, but he's certainly the best after the catch and high point football. So he could come into the NFL, I think, and put up 850, 900 yards immediately rookie season. Now, if I'm drafting for the ceiling, if you ask me, hey, who's going to be the best wide receiver in 5 years? It's probably Henry Ruggs. This is a guy who didn't start playing football until his junior year of high school. So that's junior year, senior year, 3 years in college. He's played 5 years of organized football, and he's going to be a first-round draft pick. And he can absolutely fly, okay? So if we look up in 5 years and Henry Ruggs is the best wide receiver out of this draft class, I wouldn't be surprised. But then again, how many burners have we seen bust, right? How many guys that we know can flat out get after and run, get to the NFL, and it just doesn't translate? I mean, that happens more often than not. But again, you're a 50-50, shooter in the NFL draft in the first round anyways. 50% of guys don't make it to, at least one Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a risky business anyway. So it goes back to that ceiling versus floor discussion. Are you drafting for someone's floor? The highest floor is CeeDee Lamb. Are you drafting for someone's ceiling? The highest ceiling is Henry Ruggs, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's the nature of the business. It is a lottery pick indeed, quite literally by the definition. My final question for you, Brooks. I know that you're great on Twitter and social media with all your coverage across the college football and recruiting and scouting landscape, but specifically Georgia. I want you to take this opportunity to maybe shout out a Georgia Bulldog who's coming out maybe that we have not heard of or is a little bit under the radar. We talked about Fromm. Who else on that team should we be paying attention to on draft night?
Man, there's a guy who was a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. For those who don't know what that is the nation's best safety in college football. And his name's J.R. Reed. And honestly, he's probably going to be drafted anywhere from the 4th to 7th round. And the reason is, and I know what you're thinking, how does one of the, a semifinalist for being the best safety in college football end up in the 4th or 7th round? 4th to 7th round? Well, it's because he doesn't have a ton of ascension projected in the future of his career. They don't think he's going to get that much better when he gets to the league. But as of right now, he's one of the best in-the-box safeties available in the draft. He can help you in run support. Is he going to be able to play center field safety in the NFL? I don't know. We don't know that. We don't know if it's going to translate quite well enough. He's probably honestly going to have to make his money on special teams early on in his career. But love J.R. Reed's game, man. Is an extremely smart football player. And no matter where you draft him, no matter where you play him, he's going to bring a solid presence into your locker room.
Oh, I like that. So J.R. Reed, safety in college, willing to play special teams and a smart player. I have Bill Belichick on line one. I think he's going to be an interested party for a guy like that, for sure.
Nobody takes more DBs and more safeties than Bill Belichick.
Good stuff. Hey, Brooks, again, it's Brooks Austin SI on Twitter, but where else can they find more of your content and the videos and all the clips that you break down and your draft coverage as well, too?
Yeah, awesome. So, like you said, mention me on Twitter at Brooks Austin SI. You can find my website where we cover all things Georgia sports. It's bulldogmaven.com. Bulldog spelled like bulldog. Maven spelled like Raven with an M. And then if you want to check out my YouTube stuff, I do some film breakdown.
Yes, you do.
It's not like crazy introspective. I'm not going to blow your mind and try to show you how smart I am. No, it's really there to, if you want to learn a little bit something about the game of football and have it taught to you in a first grader's language, that's where to find me. Just search Brooks Austin on YouTube. I'll probably pop up. If I don't, hit me up on Twitter and I'll send you the page. So yeah, man, that's where you can find me. And I do some good stuff over there on those film breakdowns. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, you do. I appreciate the added content that you produce for everyone. We'll keep tabs draft week and I look forward to hearing more from you. All right.
All right, brother. Shoot 'em straight.
And we're back. Great to know, as Brooks just told us there, that if someone's Wi-Fi goes down, the commissioner just will let them have more time. It's okay.
Yeah, if there's Goodell household Wi-Fi issues, if his kids are playing on their iPads for too long on Thursday night and they're clogging up the signal, then yeah, we'll just shut it down and pause it. That could make for an interesting draft. I wonder what the over-under is on number of pauses. You can bet on whether it's going to get hacked. Hacked is a pretty big underdog, Mike. So if you want to bet $1 it's going to get hacked, you could win like $20. So the there's a chance it could happen. It should be an interesting watch Thursday night and for the rest of this weekend. That's for sure. And your Giants, they're on the hot seat, Mike.
Oh, goodness.
Brooks says they're picking number 4.
They are picking number 4.
Put your seatbelt on, cross your fingers, and get ready for whatever happens at the 4th pick.
And what did we find out? Who are they looking at right now? A quarterback.
God, I swear to God, if they actually, I mean, listen, we finally came to the conclusion that, like, all right, Daniel Jones, we did it, it's happened, but like we'll hold on to him for a bit. Like if they go again with another quarterback, what an insult that would be to him.
I mean, yeah, it would be. But it's funny because if you look at it, Gettleman has actually picked, every time he picks a quarterback, he picks the quarterback that was like the senior player of the year or whatever it was, Senior Bowl quarterback of the year. He always picks that quarterback, and none of them have worked out.
I know.
None of them have worked out.
Yeah, I'm curious. Here's my bold prediction I'll throw out there. New England Patriots drafting a quarterback, 3rd or 4th round. So let's see if that happens. We can replay that next week if I'm a genius. But the one Patriot story I wanted to get to real quick is trouble in paradise already for Tampa Bay. There in TB12. He was kicked out of a Tampa Bay park for not properly practicing social distancing guidelines set in place by our authorities.
Yep.
Mike, is this the beginning of the end in Tampa Bay for Tom Brady?
I find this particularly interesting because early on he came out with a video saying, stay at home and stay fit. And that he's staying fit, but he's not at home. So
it's funny. He just insisted on going to a park because he loves working with those bands. And like, he really does work out in a pretty concise area. Yeah. It's funny. You'd think he'd be so insistent on needing to go to an open field. I guess he doesn't have much of a backyard, huh? Hey, Tom must suck to not have a big backyard,
Oh man, that's too bad. Yeah.
Oh, well. So we'll watch for the draft and see what comes of the madness on Thursday, Friday, and the rest of the weekend. And shout out to Brooks for joining us for the 2nd consecutive year. Thanks to him as well.
See. We'll talk about it next week, but now let's hashtag always end with food.
Yes, and it's brought to you by Saucy. Promo code Course of Life to get $5 off your first delivery. If you need beer, wine, liquor to your house delivered in quarantine, it's time. Yeah, they have soda, snacks, mixers, and ice too for you, Mike, as well. If you're looking to keep the party going, they're in 13 major cities. Again, Saucy.com or the Saucy app. Promo code Course of Life for $5 off. My surprise date idea this past weekend paid off in a big way. Talked about it on the weekend turn. We had Chicago food and sports night. So I played some Chicago sports classic moments for my wife and got Portillo's Italian beef subs shipped right to our door. It was an all-time meal on Friday night.
Love it. I love it.
Chicago Cubs won the World Series. They won the World Series. We remembered the 2016 year, 85 Bears, some good memories for Chicago sports. Those are fun theme nights. So we suggest everyone out there have your own theme night to spice up the weekends, just like I did.
Or what else you could do is you could get a whole bunch of crabs and bring them to the airport.
Yes, you could. Yes. Funny video. Shout out our Twitters. I'm at Course of Life 1 and you're at MWRINC. I retweeted a video of hundreds of crabs falling out of a box that were shipped to an airport and going all through baggage claim. Only during COVID and only on the internet in 2020 would there be a video of crabs crawling through baggage claim. That's just a classic internet food video. You can check it out for yourselves on our Twitter. And that's our hashtag always end with food.
Love it.
Awesome. Cool. So that's another Course of Life. For Michael, I'm Alex. We'll see you guys next week with another loaded episode with some great guests. Tune in to us on Instagram, Twitter, and for the weekend turn on IG, and we'll see you next week.